Welcome to the Gentlemen's Club, and it is true there is a lot of strong, independent women these days. Seems like more and more in the dating game, and I guess guys don't really know where they stand. It seems like these days, and that's why we've got our panel of intelligent women on this show to help these guys with their problems. And how do you feel about helping these guys? And you proud of this work?
Yeah.
Very proud. Feeling good.
Oh, I hope so, because I'd like to introduce the panel. Pam, comedian, is your main thing. Jay, a friend of mine, and Yildiz Sethi, who's a therapist from the Abundance Clinic, and you can look it up at abundanceclinic.com.au. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And okay, so let's get straight to the first letter. Okay, dear panel, I just found out a girl I've been dating for about a month is also dating someone else. She was texting someone and I asked her who it was and she acted a bit weird, so I kept pushing till she told me. We haven't slept together, but I'm wondering if they have. I want to know what the deal is, but I don't want to sound jealous. And how do I find out? How do I find out if she likes him more or if it's an ex or something? And that's from Dave at Kedron. What do you think? What about that dilemma?
Well, Dave, look, after you.
I think he's really insecure.
Insecure?
Yeah, he's like,
Okay.
she probably got to sort out something with him, with his ex. And
With his ex?
I mean, her ex.
Yeah.
If it is an ex.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
ex
You assume
or
it's
what?
You don't. It's fair enough for him to be
Okay.
curious as to where he is.
Yeah, I
on
agree.
this.
It's fair. It's fair.
Like he hasn't. Hopefully, he hasn't. He doesn't want to seem insecure to
he
her.
said that
That's
he
the thing.
haven't slept with her yet.
No.
So it's kind of like they're seeing each other, but
Yeah,
they're
that's
not
true.
in a relationship yet. So I don't think it's anything wrong with it if
Okay.
she's...
They're not in a relationship just because they haven't slept together.
No, it seems like they're not serious yet,
Okay.
They're not serious because they haven't slept together.
No,
So
it's-
maybe he. Well, no, I
Of
see.
course,
So
she's
does it mean, like-
texting as well, so obviously it's not serious.
What?
She's got to sort out something else as well before
Oh,
she
that
get
just happens. They're
into...
just hanging out. But I understand your point. They're probably not. It doesn't seem like they're serious. It's about a month, so that's fair enough
Yeah.
to say.
It doesn't matter. They could be
But-
serious after a
But
month.
I mean, he needs to know this before they get serious. So he's
Yeah.
dating. That's the point.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yildiz, do you have anything that comes to mind like, for advice for this guy?
I do, actually. I'm just wondering how he's dating somebody for a whole month
Yeah.
without asking her what she's doing. What
Yeah.
kind of conversations do they have? Do they have any?
Yeah.
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 I mean, wouldn't you want to know if you're dating somebody for a month,
Yeah.
a little bit about their life, a little bit about their history?
Yeah, obviously
so what's
the fact that
going
there's
on?
another guy in the picture hasn't
Yeah.
come up, and she's obviously
Exactly.
hidden that for a
She's
reason.
definitely
And so
concealed
I
it.
think for you as well, you're saying, well, okay, perhaps there is no relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that, okay, it's been going for a month, but he can't even ask her a single question.
Mm.
So there's not much of a relationship
So
there,
do you
is
think
there?
he should ask that, like,
Yeah.
because what if
Definitely.
won't that come across as like he's a bit sort of insecure, like, if he asks that?
As well,
Look, I think being in a relationship, you have to be prepared to be a little bit vulnerable.
Okay,
I
it's
mean,
interesting. I'm not.
I think
oh,
you've
that's
got
tough.
to you've got to be prepared to kind of, if he's interested, because he's interested, isn't he?
He is. He is. Seems like it.
He's got to kind of show her he's interested, perhaps, and he's got to just let her know that,
Yeah, he's got to put himself out
I'm
there.
available a little bit, and just
Yeah.
see what comes back. Because unless he makes that first step,
Okay.
she might just think it's not serious. They've been going for a month anyway, and nothing
Yeah.
much is
So
happening.
he should
Yeah.
say something
That's
like,
right.
so I guess he should have probably found out that earlier that, so are you single? And he might have asked and she just kept it from him.
Well,
So
I
what
mean,
if, so okay, so you're saying he should just say, okay, so what's the deal with this guy? I need to know,
Definitely. I mean, I don't know if we're getting the whole story because he
Obviously, it's a
asked
quick-
who.
it's only a letter,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, we should bring him in. No, he asked who she was texting, and she sort of was deliberately trying to conceal it.
Yeah.
So that sort of, to me, is a bit of a red flag as well.
Yeah, okay. So do you think that's not fair enough that should she have to reveal it?
Well, I mean, as Yildiz was saying, I mean, these people have been involved for a month. Why, you know, where's the lack of, why the lack of openness? Why hasn't this come up before?
Everyone has their own sort of takes on it. Like, some people think that it's not exclusive unless you sleep together. Some people, it's not, you know, at what point do you have to... I can sort of understand from her point of view that she doesn't feel like she has to put it all out there because they're not serious yet.
They're spending time together, and there's like a romantic overtones, and there's the assumption, that they're going to be involved.
You would tell people, so you would tell a guy, you know, straight up, this is who I'm seeing on which days.
Wednesdays to Saturdays, I'm with guy A.
Yeah, but you've done that before. And how do guys react to that? Like,
they seem to appreciate the honesty, I think. Yeah,
it doesn't make them jealous and turn them to like crazy guys who are like, no.
I've sort of noticed the opposite. I feel like that kind of motivates them more to be a bit more
desperate,
involved.
Well, once
they want to win.
They want to really?
They want to win. Yeah, say I'm, just so you know, I'm dating other people. And then
that works for you when they try harder?
I think
that would turn me off personally if it was a girl.
I think it creates a competitive sort of streak.
Is that healthy, do you think?
Depends on what you want, doesn't it? Is it a race or is it a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it does depend on what you want.
Relationships are not a race. Okay? You just take your time.
Well, I dated a guy once, and he was really nice and sweet. No,
obviously not.
Sorry?
Obviously not you.
I missed that.
Oh, come on. James?
Before we have to go to the break.
We're going to break
soon. So what was it?
Well, I dated guys, like 2 guys same times.
Okay.
So it's not that I didn't sleep, none of them, but I was just dating, went out and, see how they're like. Like when I was on a date with a guy and there's the other guy who texted me and I answered him same times. And
bad form.
It's really a bad...
Well, it's not that I wasn't sure.
Asking for trouble. I'm not even sure if I need you to finish this story. But we do have to wrap it up. We might come back to that. I don't know if we might need to give him more advice on that. But we're actually going to have a live guest in with a question for the panel. And that's next on the Gentleman's Club.
You know, Deidre, they say you can tell what a man's like in bed by the way he dances.
Really?
And welcome back to the Gentleman's Club. Just to wrap up what we were talking about before, actually Sam, as our new guest, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for
it's okay.
shaking hands.
Maybe later.
So good.
Great
to be on the show.
We were talking about before,
Thank
Sam.
you for having me on the Gentleman's Club. Big fan.
No worries at all. No worries at all. Before we were talking about that guy, we found out the girl was dating other people, and Jay unfortunately had to leave, but she just wanted you all to know that she thought there was nothing wrong with her texting a guy because she was confused. Is that right? Because she has a right to be confused, and that's fair enough. And Yildiz actually wanted to say something about that as well.
Yeah, I said that they were in a very early part of their relationship.
Yeah.
And nothing had gone deeper. So I guess at that point it's free game in a sense. And until he or she decides they want to make it deeper.
Yeah,
and have sex.
And if he wants to, do that, he needs to say something, not just keep sitting on the fence and getting frustrated about it all.
Okay.
So I believe she is a scarlet woman. I'm just trying to be controversial on the show.
You weren't here, but I appreciate your opinion.
Giant ass on her.
I think that he should personally not say anything. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'd love to email me personally, and I'll tell you what to do, Dave. But now we've got.
What's your email address, James? Big dog.
Sam, you're on
He's
fire.
a firecracker.
And you've got a question for the panel about how you...
Just how do you...
Tell the panel, puppy.
How do you, with all the girls, how do you do it? How do you make it...
Well, you're talking about older women that you
attracted to older ladies.
So, what was... No, that's fair enough.
How much older are we talking, Sam?
The problem is they always try and think they're my mom. Is from feeding me avocado with their hands.
I need to get a
so many question, is it?
I need to get a linear line of thought happening here so we can answer a question. What's the question? You have trouble meeting older women, or
it's just the difficulty just at the shops and stuff. I don't know how to talk to them.
You don't know how to talk to them.
You got to ask some questions about baked goods.
What compared to young girls? Or?
Sorry? I prefer an older, wiser woman.
Okay.
I don't like these young girls with their hairstyles and their skateboards.
Look, I'm hearing what you're saying, but what's an example? Like, what's something? When was the last time you tried to talk to her?
I was at the shops at IGA. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's one of the big chains.
We all know it. Yeah.
A lot of different products.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a super IGA.
So what?
The big one.
Okay.
Fancy.
I didn't have enough.
Just off the bat, maybe you distracted them with all the other information you're giving them when you talk to them.
Yeah.
So what?
I go into detail too much about.
Maybe.
About how much you love the IGA.
Well, what happened was I was buying some stuff. I was going to this, like a dinner kind of thing.
Okay.
And I wanted to get some halloumi cheese.
Okay.
But I didn't have quite enough money for the halloumi cheese, so I just
It's redundant to say halloumi cheese, by the way.
Why is that?
Because halloumi is cheese. You just say halloumi.
Oh, I was just specifying the cheese, I guess.
Right.
Is that...
Sorry to interrupt.
Halloumi cheese is quite nice. You can cook it.
Is there a woman involved in the story?
Do you ever say mozzarella cheese?
I'm getting to it, James.
Okay.
Like
just because the viewers want to know, like that, they haven't got the patience that I do.
They don't. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to weave a good story, all right?
I
build it up. It's going to come to a head.
You.
It's like a tapestry, this story. It's a cheese tapestry.
Well, I agreed to come on this show.
This excuse for a show.
I understand it's
been made to look like a jerk. Anyway, so I didn't have enough money to buy this halloumi cheese, so I just put it in my pocket.
Yep.
I just stole it. Then in the car park, this woman came up to me. She said, "Hey, I saw you steal that halloumi cheese."
Oh, okay.
I said, "Oh, what are you doing later?" She was a nice looking lady, and so I don't know how could I have swung that? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's really not.
You should have told her
you got off on the wrong foot because she was attacking you, and you can't just switch it straight to.
Okay.
Like in a serious
I
thing.
thought they liked bad boys.
You can't just switch it.
I thought they liked the bad boys.
You can't go from her being angry and then ask for a number. Like that's funny, but not going to work. I think you have to sort of, in my opinion, see what Yildiz thinks of this. But I think when you're getting resistance. And that hasn't happened to me exactly, but if a woman's angry at you, you can't just suddenly turn it around. You have to go with it, you have to listen to her, calm her down, relate to her, and then after the things have died down, and then you can start turning the wheels around and start, after you agree with her to neutralise it.
Sorry about
agree with her, go along with it. You're absolutely right. I shouldn't have stolen the cheese.
I shouldn't have stolen the cheese, but would you like to share it with me later?
Yeah.
No, well, not so soon. Again,
you can cook
it. Yildiz.
What's your real issue?
Sorry?
What are you really trying to do?
My underlying issue.
What do you really...
That's a good,
cheese.
Because I'm confused about all this cheese and stealing cheese, and I'm just wondering
I gotta let my walls down, stop hiding behind the cheese. So
it's true.
My real issue?
Yeah, I mean, are you attracted to older women, or are you attracted to younger women? Or?
I think I'm more attracted to the older ladies.
Okay, and what is it about them that attracts you?
So the hair, nice.
The hair.
Nice.
Sam.
Young women have hair.
Yeah, that's what. Maybe I do want. Maybe I want a teacher as well as a lover. Or is that wrong?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough.
No, that's fine.
What does that say about Sam? Anything in particular? Or?
Yeah, tell us.
I think it's fine if the older woman is really happy and you're really happy. I don't see there's a problem.
Have you ever been? Can I ask if you've been with one before, or is it just a fantasy?
It has become a reality.
So, oh really? Not the cheese
don't mean to brag. I'm going to name names.
Who's the lucky geriatric?
Whoa! All right, this is. Sorry.
Tell us an age. I want to know.
Oh, I mean, I'm talking old. Late 20s. Talking an older lady.
Sam,
that's a joke.
Look, I understand. Look, I've been. There's something about older women for me, like where it is like a it is a bit of a fantasy, her being dominant, I guess, or sort of a lot of, an older woman relative to you knows what she wants. They'll take charge. Whereas you don't have to with young girls.
Older women will tell you what to do. Yeah, they'll tell you what they want, I assume, and how to get it and all.
For me,
that.
it's more of a sexual thing.
Rub pawpaw cream.
I don't know if I'd want to. It's more of a sexual thing for me. Like, I don't think I'd get into a relationship with one because that's. But it's definitely a bit of a turn on.
You want to rub medicated cream on their psoriasis? I like that.
Oh my god!
Is that what gets you hot?
It's creepy.
Samuel, is that what you like?
I feel like
you're the one that's
we've done our best for Sam
birds.
here, and I think we should. The next thing we're going to
thanks for having me on the show. Big fan.
Yeah. Well, again, I think, but just on that incident, as I was saying, I think you have to really win them over. I mean, neutralise it by agreeing and with the resistance and going with it. What do you think of that, Yildiz?
Yes, I think that's very good. Very good. Much better than confrontational, or much better than trying to woo them over straight away, because that won't work. Yeah.
Okay, well, the next thing we're going to talk about is we've got a letter about making love in front of animals on the Gentlemen's Club. Welcome back to the Gentlemen's Club. It's good to have you back. Okay, let's move on to a new letter from a guest, which seems a bit interesting one. Dear panel, the other night I was over at a girl's place who I've been seeing for only a few weeks, and we ended up having sex even though her dog was in the bed. He was there before we started, and I assumed she would kick him out, but she just acted like it was normal. Is this okay? Should I say something about it? And that's from Darren at Rosalie. Pam, any thoughts?
I think there might be something wrong with the dog.
You think that could actually affect the dog?
Why didn't the dog move? Why would the dog stay there during the night? Is there a specific breed?
Might have been dark and he didn't know where else to go. It could have been
Maybe he was disturbed by the act of people intercoursing each other. That they didn't.
Well,
you think the dog would be a bit disturbed and just.
Well, when it happened to me, it was a small dog.
Aha.
And he couldn't get off the bed probably safely without. I don't know, but it was a bit weird. Yeah.
So what did you just left this little fella that's just there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit weird, bit sick.
Do you think?
Did you make eye contact with the dog?
It was dark. Let's address Darren's question. Help him first before we help me. I prefer. Yildiz, do you have any thoughts on is there anything deeper possibly to this, or is it just sort of personal thing?
I don't see anything very deep about it. It's just a preference,
It's just a personal thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And if Darren, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
If Darren,
also known as James,
doesn't like it, then I guess he's got to speak up. Or just say, does the dog always sleep in your bed?
Regardless of the activity that is occurring in the bed, the dog does not move.
Well, you would assume that it just seems like it's a common thing. You shouldn't have to say anything about it. It just seems like common sort of etiquette where it's intimate sort of thing. And
I don't even mean, I think there's a lack of etiquette between the owner and the dog. You think the dog would just be like,
Well, it's one thing to sleep with your dog in the bed, and the first time I heard of that, I was living with vet students, and I thought that was weird.
Really?
Yeah, a dog sleeping in bed and spooning a dog.
What? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's really.
You definitely have all sorts of intimacy issues that transcend many levels.
Well, I was always taught the only good dog is a working dog, but apart from that. Just the smell and everything and just the whole thing. It's just a bit weird having a dog. Don't you think the dog would find it a bit weird?
I think the dog would be okay. But I think the dog would be okay, but...
You wouldn't think anything of it.
But personally, I'm like you. Where I was brought up, the family I was brought up, we didn't have animals in beds at all. and it
Or
would be weird.
In the house is one thing.
Yeah, in the house is one thing.
But in the bed is just taking it to another level.
Well, I wasn't even allowed to have pets, but I think it's fine to have.
Do you think it's fair for a girl to use a dog to make up for the lack of a man in her life? Have that intimacy? Like, do you think that's...
I think that's a question for Yildiz.
I mean, I'm trying to take it to... that's a bit... You know, I think that's a bit to do with it. Like, the dog is getting attention they didn't really ask for. I mean, I don't know.
Do you know that? Do you know that the dog's not just sleeping through it and just doesn't really care that much? I mean, you're making all sorts of assumptions for the dog.
No, that is true.
He's the dog.
Let's get the dog in here. Let's get the dog in here. Interview the dog. Find out his opinion.
I'm just asking the questions. You know, I mean, it's just something that I think of. Like,
rough?
You know, I like to respect a dog's boundaries personally.
I like to treat dogs as dogs kindly, but as dogs, and humans as humans. That's kind of the way I personally would like to do it, but I know other people are different. So.
Yeah, going back to your question, I mean, lots of people find companionship in their pets. There's nothing untowards there. I mean, it definitely goes.
So you've slept with a dog in the bed, but you've never done it with the dog in the bed. Is that correct?
No, that is correct.
No, wait a second. No, or it's correct?
No. Look, I'm not Darren. I wasn't with Darren or whatever.
Oh, I'm sure it's not the first time.
I think it's unusual what you're describing, like with an animal in the bed while all this stuff is happening. There may have been a bird like outside on the window, but that's it. That's like,
I don't think that's a bit.
That's as perverse as I get.
I have a pet axolotl, which I'm quite fond of. If it was not like an aquatic pet, I probably wouldn't mind him curling up on the bed when I was going to sleep.
Yeah. So Sam,
kill him with
hypothetical. That's hypothetical. But have you ever had anything like this?
Something happened with a dog.
Yeah.
No.
We may as well talk about your issue with older women, because I think that's
you want to return
get
to
back
that.
to that.
Return to that.
What about older women who own dogs?
Older women who own dogs. Yeah, I think they're cool.
You got an in there. You could talk to them.
Oh, you got a good one. Oh, I like a dog. He seems nice.
Is this your guide dog?
Like you've had success with an older woman, for example. What's your? I want to know if you're willing to say what's your sticking point when it comes to? Is it just meeting them, or meeting women, or is it finding out if they're interested in you, or not knowing if they'd be interested in a younger guy?
That's very difficult. There needs to be websites you can go to.
Have you tried?
There are.
There are young dudes looking for a nice old lady.
.com.
.edu. I don't know why.
Maybe you're not ready for commitment, Sam. That's one thing I've learned from this episode. I think that you're not. I'm not sure if you can handle a mature woman.
A man boy.
I'm not sure.
Maybe, I don't know. I think a lot of older women would want the interest of a younger dude. It's validating.
From a Freudian perspective.
Now this is going to be interesting.
From a Freudian perspective, boys lust after their mothers. Yeah.
Yeah, but Freud was a perv.
I have heard that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one.
Or if my mum will watch this. This is quite
and so if it's a taboo to lust after your mother, obviously. So the next best thing is an older woman, isn't it?
Do you think that actually that's the deep?
That's the deep psychological.
But do you think that
meanings.
has that happened? I mean, would it happen? Is it a common thing? Like, obviously, no one's going to admit it, even if it does.
Are you asking her if it's common for guys
to lust after their mothers?
I think on a subconscious level, it's the nurturing role that they're... And the
mother, for a man, his mother is always the first woman in his life.
For me, I don't think not that older women are my main thing, but it's definitely not to do with my mum. I can safely... My thing is that it's just hot when they're fit, and even though they're sort of older, that's just, I don't know, it's something like that. Like
we know it has nothing to do with your
their sort of attitude and their sort of predatory thing. That's what I think it is, if I try to put a finger on it. Thanks to everyone for coming in. Yildiz, it was great having you here for your expert opinion. Sam, maybe clear your thoughts a bit more next time. Pam, but it was great having you here as well.
Oh, thank you, James.
Pam.
It's very...
Thank you very much. You've been watching The Gentleman's Club, And we'll see you next time. Check us out on Facebook. Search Gentlemen's Club. And if you want to email us, it's tvgentlemensclub@gmail.com.au. Thanks again. To relight a fire, but I know you're always